Tonight, a man described as a ninja fly kicks a police car in Ceduna. And a mix of spooky and glamorous scenes in Broken Hill over the weekend, with the return of the cemetery tour and Glamfest.
From our 7 Spencer Gulf Studios, your nightly news with Madeline Kerr begins now.
Good evening, thanks for joining us. A Ceduna man is being described as a ninja by police after fly kicking the back end of a police car. Officers were called to a service station for an unrelated matter around 2:30 yesterday morning. When a man exited the store, he jumped in the air and rammed the rear end of the police vehicle. The 30-year-old man initially fled the scene, police catching up with him a few hours later. He's been charged with property damage and bailed to appear at the Ceduna Magistrates Court on May 22. With a horror start to the year on South Australian roads, drivers were encouraged to be careful this Easter long weekend. But some people still didn't get the message. Alison Hall explains.
Police were on high alert this weekend, working to keep road users safe. The police superintendent issuing this message at the start of the long weekend.
We will be out in force and we will be paying very strict attention to traffic and road users and their behaviour. And you can expect that we may not show the leniency that we may have in the past in terms of poor behaviour on our roads.
And out in force they were. 3 drivers were caught doing the wrong thing on Spencer Gulf roads. First up on Good Friday, a 30-year-old man was pulled over along the Copper Coast Highway, where police say he blew 4 times the legal blood alcohol limit. The Adelaide local lost his licence for 12 months on the spot. Meanwhile, at 4:30 on Saturday afternoon, a 53-year-old man was pulled over along the Eyre Highway. Officers breath tested him, which allegedly came back 5 times over the legal blood alcohol limit. On top of that, police will allege he was also behind the wheel without a licence, his car wasn't registered, and it had no number plates. The Far West local has been disqualified from driving for 12 months and will appear in the Ceduna Magistrates Court at a later date. On the same day, a 45-year-old Edithburgh woman lost her licence for a year after police say she blew 0.176, more than 3 times the legal limit. And just yesterday, an 18-year-old Clare man is lucky to be alive after crashing his car into a tree stump, hoisting it into the air. It's believed the teen lost control of his vehicle before becoming wedged on the stump around 10:30 last night. For all those driving home today, stay safe and we hope you had a great long weekend.
Thank you, Ali. Also making news today, Port Augusta Mayor Lindley Shine has thanked the Minister for Local Government, Jeff Brock, for one of the biggest local government gatherings in the state's history. The forum was open to all 68 local government organisations and was officially backed by the Premier.
The State Local Government Economic Growth Forum was the brainchild of Minister for Local Government Jeff Brock, the member for Stewart aiming for better cooperation between the 2 tiers of government. The state government pleased with the turnout and the results of the gathering.
Got about 680 thereabouts elected members across the whole of the state, and to get over nearly, this is about 300 in actual fact, attend, and it was absolutely fantastic.
Port Augusta City Council was represented by Mayor Lindley Shine and several councillors.
It was wonderful to hear that there were 54 mayors in the room, which is pretty incredible. And obviously with every mayor comes a number of councillors that actually attended. So we had, there were 4 of us from Port Augusta that went down to the forum, which was amazing.
The Mayor thanking the Minister for the forum opportunity.
Full credit to Jeff and the team for pulling that together, because it was just an outstanding forum and there really is so much positive opportunity in our state. It's just amazing.
Speakers included the Premier Peter Malinauskas, who made it clear Port Augusta was a key part of future developments.
I certainly took away from the forum that the Port Augusta community is certainly centre of a lot of that opportunity, and we certainly want to embrace that.
As for future forums...
And I intend to have another one later on, a follow-up to that one there.
Daniel Pizarro, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
After 18 months of planning, Glamfest finally arrived over the weekend, with Broken Hill locals flocking to Gawler Lane. From music to art and plenty of local food stalls, so much was packed into one spectacular night.
Bringing one of Broken Hill's laneways to life, Gawler Lane was abuzz with people. Locals and tourists making their way to the CBD to hear some good tunes and eat some good food. Organisers happy to see their vision come to life after 18 months of hard work.
We were just absolutely thrilled that it all came together in how we had hoped it would come together. It's been a very it's been 2 years since we started planning this project.
There were plenty of people who worked behind the scenes, making it a magical night for all involved.
I couldn't have asked for a greater crew to help us get this up, for all the support from the local businesses that we've had to put it together, including RFDS Wellbeing Place, allowing us to use their outdoor area to have our stage for all our musicians. It was great.
Amy Volkowski from Bushwitch Productions helped with the live music on the night. One of the highlights was the Wilcannia Children's Choir singing with Jungala Barker.
Amy was able to bring all those guys down for the performance, without them, they just really brought this stage area to life, didn't they?
Artist Kathy Najor was happy with the reception her piece got, with people loving the mirrored doorway and also the wall projection.
It was funny how they were acting out and performing and posing, and then the projection along the wall, there was enough space between the projectors and the wall for people to actually do this gorgeous shadow play, and the kids had a lot of fun with that.
Ms. Naja saying that a night like this can be like walking into the unknown for an artist.
You can spend 12 months planning an artwork, but then what actually happens on the day is always a surprise in public space.
Joshua Mercer, 7, Spencer Gulf News.
Still to come tonight, engines at the ready in Tumby Bay, rev heads to converge on the Eyre Peninsula for a one-of-a-kind off-roading event. And Whyalla City Library to host its first ever Reading and Writing Festival at multiple venues, featuring several South Aussie authors. Welcome back. Tumby Bay's Jamulka Off-Road Racing is just a few days away. The fun event scheduled for this Saturday. Rev heads from across the region and beyond will be attending to have a crack at the incredible course.
Final preparations are taking place before the first ever Jamulka off-road racing experience. "40 entries of bikes and buggies are locked in to race the 60-kilometre course. The Jamulka off-road team anticipating a big turnout and the benefits that come with an influx of people.
For our local community, it's going to be great. The economic benefit will be huge.
Ben anticipates the event will continue to grow, attracting even more participants and spectators as the years go on.
A lot of people will come earlier and stay and utilise the lovely environment we have around here.
There will be roughly 600 people camping out on the Saturday night, with live music to keep them entertained.
We're having a band on the Saturday night for the people, because a lot of people will be camping here.
Bring along a chair so you can sit back and relax as racers push their limits on the track.
I've done some pretty big projects over the years, but I reckon this one's probably going to take the cake.
So here is your reminder to head on down to 720 White River Road on the weekend, where the racing kicks off around midday Saturday. There will also be merchandise available to commemorate the inaugural weekend. You can find the event schedule on the Jamulka Off-Road website for more details. Alison Hall, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
If off-roading isn't your preferred way to spend a weekend, then perhaps this next story is for you. For the first time ever, the Readers and Writers Festival is coming to Whyalla. Nicknamed Rawfest, the Book Lovers event kicks off on Friday and runs through till Sunday, April 16. Consisting of author talks, workshops, panel discussions and more, the event will expand outside of the Whyalla Public Library, branching out to Mount Laura Homestead as well. Organisers say events like this rarely happen in regional settings, and it's the perfect chance for readers, writers and storytellers of all ages and backgrounds to come together and learn something new. Most of the events are completely free, but attendees are required to book in advance via Eventbrite. Stay with us after the break. So much more than just a train ride. Broken Hill locals gather at Queen Elizabeth Park to raise money for a brave little Silver City boy. And it's one of the oldest events of its kind in Australia. Nominations now open for the upcoming Civic Ball. Welcome back to your local news bulletin. The West Darling Machinery Preservation Society put the fun in fundraising yesterday at the Little Picnic Train Easter event. Money raised is going to Jess Lyons and her son Ryan to help cover medical costs.
It may have been overcast, but that didn't stop people from heading to Queen Elizabeth Park to see the Easter Bunny and ride the picnic train. But there was another reason why there was such a decent turnout. Locals digging deep to support the Lyons family.
We are just so overwhelmed with all the love and support that we've got with Ryan. I literally have no words. I actually had a few tears when I come here.
Ryan had to be flown to the Adelaide Women's and Children's Hospital after contracting Strep A, a severe infection in the blood. He had to have his lower legs, fingers and fingertips amputated.
Doing a lot better now. We'll still obviously be backwards and forwards to Adelaide for a bit, and we're going to start some therapies and that, but we're on the road to recovery now, hopefully.
It was amazing the support shown by the Broken Hill community.
Older son, he loves the train, so it was like I said, I just have no words. We just feel so thankful to everyone, and even these guys, but also the whole Broken Hill community. So it's just amazing.
A GoFundMe page has been set up for Ryan if people would like to donate, but there is another fundraiser coming up as well.
Yeah, I know that there is another big fundraiser coming up. Chunky Custard is coming to town, so I do know that if anyone wants to attend that there's tables available.
Joshua Mercer, 7, Spencer Gulf News.
Nominations are officially open for this year's Civic Ball in Broken Hill, with 12 spots up for grabs. Believed to be one of the longest running debutante balls in the country, the Broken Hill event used to be about introducing a woman to society in hopes of her finding a husband. But a lot has changed since then, with the modern version of the event more synonymous with coming of age. Nominations close on June 2nd, with the actual ball scheduled for Friday, September 22. Young people aged 15 years and older can apply to be part of the long-standing event by visiting the council's website. Still to come in tonight's bulletin, the Port Augusta players' pivotal role in securing a win for Power in round 4 of the AFL. And it was a chilly start to the day in some parts. Ruby Cairns has your local weather details on the other side of the ad break. Welcome back to 7 Spencer Gulf News this Easter Monday. Port Adelaide snatched victory from the jaws of defeat in one of the most intense AFL games so far. Port Augusta's Connor Rozee was vital in Power's win over the Swans, while the Crows kept their winning streak going thanks to Tex Walker.
When Port Adelaide headed to Sydney to face the Swans, no one could have imagined one of the most nail-biting matches of the year. Sydney had control of the game as Port was only in the lead once in the third quarter and at one point 5 goals down, but it was the fourth that proved crucial. Port Augusta's Connor Rozee was busy as usual, his goal bringing Port within 4 points of the lead. Then as final siren bled, two states held their breath as Ollie Florid lined up for a shot at goal that would determine the winner.
Sydney on the final siren. Florid's kicked it. Is it there? Did it make the distance? Score review, I reckon. Port are celebrating. The Port defenders are convinced they've won the game.
The Sharon falling short, and as Port celebrated, Sydney went into confusion and disbelief.
Footy's good, does all sorts of things to you, sends you to all sorts of places, and ultimately you have to be willing to go to those places. And as a footy club this week and as a team, we had to go to some of those places and to come up here and play against a highly respectable opponent who we just have such admiration for.
Looked as though we had the momentum of it. They got 2 free kick goals and changed the momentum.
Meanwhile, the Crows continued to fly high after an easy win over the Dockers. Broken Hill's Tex Walker was the standout, the number 13 kicking not 1 but 4 goals throughout the clash.
Yeah, we got some fantastic players ahead of the ball, led by Tex and Isaac now down there. We've got a number of guys who rotate through the midfield, so we've got to give them as much opportunity as we can, perform well in other areas, we'll get the job done.
Adelaide easily beating their Western opposition, 17 goals, 9 behinds, to Fremantle's 10 goals and 12 behinds, a win of 39 points. Round 5 of the AFL will be the gathering round, where all matches will be played in Adelaide and Mount Barker. Tens of thousands of people are expected to flock to the state capital for what will be one massive round of footy. Daniel Pizarro, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Good stuff, Daniel. Thank you. Well, it's time now to take a look at what's happening in the weather with Ruby Cairns. Ruby, it was cold in parts of the Flinders and Mid-North this morning.
It was, Maddie. I'm sure our viewers in Clare and Snowtown struggled to get out of bed this morning with temperatures under 5 degrees an hour before sunrise. As always, the feels like was a few degrees cooler than that. I'm sure a few people dusted off their puffer jackets before leaving the house this morning. It was a similar situation in Broken Hill this morning as well, recording an overnight low of 9 degrees, warming up to 22 by 3:15. Elsewhere, sunny for a sunny top of 27 in Woodna today. Kadina reached 24. Looking more broadly at today's weather map now, 31 was the warmest it got up to in Coober Pedy. Port Augusta topped 26 just after 2 p.m. Just 21 degrees in Whyalla and Port Lincoln. Let's take a look at the satellite image now. A ridge of high pressure will move eastwards tonight ahead of a trough moving over western parts tomorrow morning. A low will form south of Kangaroo Island tomorrow night. Moving on to tomorrow's weather outlook now, and we'll start with the Gulf waters, and a strong wind warning is in place for tomorrow. East to the northeasterly 10 to 20 knots, increasing up to 30 knots. Winds shifting west to northwesterly 20 to 30 knots tomorrow night, seas between 1 and 2 metres, at south to southwesterly swell around a metre. Let's take a look at tomorrow's temperatures now, and showers and possible storms around Port Lincoln tomorrow between 15 and 25 degrees. Possible storms for Cleve as well, 24 on Tuesday. It is looking a bit muggy in Woodna, 28 degrees and a possible storm. A shower or two and possible storms in Whyalla as well, 25. Similar conditions in Port Augusta, but a few degrees warmer and 27, down to 13 tonight though. Between 10 and 24 in Kadina, stormy conditions there as well. More of the same for Port Pirie too, stormy, a top of 26. Showers developing around Clare, down to 9 degrees tonight, 23 tomorrow. Some late showers are on the way for Broken Hill, 25 degrees, dropping down to just 7 degrees overnight. Taking a look further through the week now, starting with Wednesday's weather map, a big change for Broken Hill. Headed for a sunny day with a slight chance of a shower early in the morning. Partly cloudy conditions around Whyalla, Woodna and Port Augusta. Temperatures between 22 and 25 in those areas. Some showers lingering around Port Pirie, Kadina and Adelaide, temps in the low 20s. Turning to Thursday's forecast now, and as we can see, the rain looks to have gone away. Partly cloudy skies across the majority of the region, 23 in Kadina and Port Pirie, 22 in Port Augusta and Adelaide. Some cloud coverage expected around Broken Hill and Port Lincoln. And finally, taking our first glance at how Friday's looking. Windy conditions for Coober Pedy, headed for a high of 31 degrees. A sunny top of 24 on the way for the Silver City, and partly cloudy 28 in Port Augusta and Port Pirie. Showers are hanging around Woodna, Port Lincoln and Kadina. That's all the weather from me tonight, but I will be here all week. I'll see you a little later with an update. Maddie, back to you.
Thanks for that, Ruby. And that's the local news this Easter Monday. I'm Madeline Kerr. From all of us here, thanks for joining us. I'll have updates a little later, but until then, enjoy your evening. Good night.